What I'm going to do today is show you how easy it is to use these dragon eyes, and you can get these so easily. I will link them in the description below, and they come in all different sizes and they pair up really nicely. So you look at all those different sizes. You can stick these on afterwards, but I like to embed them in the resin item, and I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm going to use the smaller ones because I haven't got anything at the moment that's big enough to take those larger ones, but I use them in my other craft room, and they're great to mold around. They're not at all expensive, and you can get either a mixed pack like this, or you can get a bag of small ones. This isn't sponsored in any way by this company. I just really want to share this with you because they are great. So I'm going to use 3 different molds today. I'm going to use the little dragon mold, the frog mold, of course, because I love that and I know that will sell. And then I'm also going to do it on a snowman. So this is the method I use. I'm sure there's other methods that you can use as well, but I find this one gives me the best effects. What I do is I put a little bit of UV resin. I'm using the high viscosity one here rather than the low viscosity or medium viscosity because I find that works better. I dip my eye in it like that, and now you can either use tweezers or you can use your finger if you can get that in there right. And then what you do is you pop it into where you want it and then get it lined up. Now these ones have just got a dot in the center, so I'm not having to worry about lining it up. Again, making sure that's fully immersed in there, nicely covered. Pop that in there. And it doesn't matter if you make a mistake, this method, because you can still make a change to it if you mess it up. So if I've messed that up, then I can still make a change if I need to. And then once you've got that in there, all you need to do is cure that up through the mold and get your resin nice and cured up. And then you need to treat it quite delicately because you don't want to dislodge that from your resin. A little bit of resin on there. Now these eye sockets are a little bit more open than the other ones, so I'll also pop a little bit in there as well in each eye socket. Now for the frog, I'm going to use these blue ones. I really like those. So it's these small little blue ones. Again, I'm going to dip that in my UV resin. There we are. That's both sides done. And then I'm going to pop that in. Now what I'm going to do is hold my finger against that and look to see which way up the eye is, or the pupil of the eye, I should say. Yep, that looks good to me. And now those 2 are in there as well. And now what I can do is cure that one up as well. And now for the dragon, you've got to get in there quite deep for this dragon. So you've got quite a long way to get in there. But again, you can see through this mold really easily. What colour dragon eyes shall I go for? I think I'm going to go for these not quite as small ones. I think it'll take those. Now for this larger dragon, because it's so far down there, what I'm going to do is pop a little bit of the UV resin in there first. And make sure that that is in the right eye socket. Then do a little load over the top of the eye, like that. And there's no reason why you can't give them alternating colours either. You can do one and then do the other one in a different colour. Now I'm going to lift that up to make sure I've got it in the right place. And I have. And now before I do the next one, what I'll do is I'll cure this one. Because it's a deeper mould, then it's easier to do it like this. So I'll just cure that through there, and that will stick on there nicely. So that should be stuck on there now. And now I can go in and do the other eye. I know it sounds a bit like, oh, that's a bit taking time. Do both eyes at the same time. But actually, it isn't. It is much easier, and I've found quicker to do it like this. Because if not, I'm popping one eye in, then I'm popping another one in. But I only need to do it when it's like a deep mold like that. Okay, then I can lift it up. Oh, I can absolutely see that that is not in line with the other one. So I can twist it round a little bit. Now look again. It's still not. Yeah, that's not too bad. So now I'm going to cure that one up as well. These ones I'll just put back in the bag. I can use them another time. So for the frog, I'm going to do it yellow and red. So the majority of it is going to be yellow body, but I want some red dots in places. So all I'm using to put those red dots in is the UV resin, and I'll pop those in and then cure that up as I go along to make sure they don't run in places I don't want them. You only need to cure it up for a few seconds so that it's set, and then you can cure it all up at the end. So I'll go ahead and I'll finish off those dots in there, and then I'll show you how I'm going to decorate the other 2. So that's having its final cure now, and as you can see, it's covered in little dots. Now this might not be the ideal design for someone that's got arachnophobia or something like that, who doesn't like dots and things. But I love the way that this comes out. So that one's all done. Now always handle these with real care because you don't want to dislodge any of those dots or anything from the actual finished piece. So I'm going to make the dragon green, but I'm going to do a blue chameleon powder chest plate. I'm using a little sponge makeup brush applicator to put the chest plate on with, and I'm going to brush that all in there. I don't mind if some flakes get elsewhere, it just adds to the texture a little bit, but I am being delicate because I don't want to move those eyes in any way, shape or form. There we go. So I've given that a good polish and I like the way that that's come out, and the rest of him will just be green. And the snowman, the only thing that I'm going to colour on this is his nose and his scarf, and the rest of it's going to be a white pour. And his nose I'm going to be using the black glitter UV resin, and I'm going to pop that in using my tweezers. What I'm going to do is get a blob of it on there like that, pop that all the way in like that. There you go, the blob's in there now, and then cure that up. So that's nice and cured now. What I'm going to do is actually, I think I might do a magenta scarf. And again, that's with the chameleon powders. All I'm going to do is rub that on. If I need to clean any bits up, I can just go in with a baby wipe and clean those up. And now that's done, I'm going to just whip in there with a baby wipe, clean up any of my loose powder, and then I'm ready to mix up my resin and pour. So there we go, they're all prepped now. I'm going to mix up my resin. I'm going to be using, because none of these are really need a deep pour resin, I'm going to use the Crystal Clear by Tea Expert. It's a great resin, premium quality, gloss finish, self-leveling, and resistant to yellowing. So let's get that mixed up. So the first one I'm going to pour is the frog, and I'm going to be using the Tea Expert pigment colours for this because they give, in my opinion, one of the richest opaque pigments there is on the market. They give beautiful colours. And the other thing is you don't need an awful lot in there to get it a really nice solid colour. Whenever you're adding colours though, always make sure you give them a really good mix in, because if not, what you're going to find is it's going to be streaky in places where you think it might be mixed in and then it isn't. So I want that to be a bit darker than that, so I'm going to add a little bit more in, and it's always better to add it in after than add too much to start with. Oh yeah, that's much better. It's going to have a little bit of translucency to it, but not a lot, which is what I'm really looking for. So now I'm ready to pour this in. I'm going to pour it in from the middle and let this fill in slowly. That way I'm not going to get too many trapped bubbles or any issues with bubbles, and they should just rise up, and then I can burst them with a long neck lighter. And now I've got to that point, I can fill in the little toesies. I'm edging this in here to make sure it's fully covered in everywhere, and then I'll drop a little bit extra in to compensate for that, because if not I get carried away and then I over pour everything. Yeah, so I'm happy with that. Now I can drop a little bit of resin in here and that will find its own level, but it will fill up those toes nicely. So I can push that to one side, leave that for 5 minutes, and then I can burst the bubbles off that. The next one I'm going to do is the snowman, and I'm going to do that one in exactly the same way. This time I'm going to be using the white Tea Expert pigment. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. But I'm also going to chuck in some silver glitter as well, which is the ultra fine glitter. I wanted to give a little bit of a sparkle in there as well. I'm going to give that a good mix in, and then just pour this in the same way. And then I use exactly the same method to fill the dragon with green. So these have all had more than 5 minutes now. I'm just going to go over them quickly with a long neck lighter. Burst any bubbles that have come up to the top, and to be honest, not many have, which is great news. And then leave these to cure up overnight, and then we can demold them, and we can look at them and you can see what the eyes look like. I love them, but you will make your own decision. These are all lovely and cured now, so what I can do is take them out of the mold. I love these little dragon molds, they're so cute. Oh, look at that, look at the eyes. See, by using the UV resin on it first, I think you get a much better result, and you keep a really nice shine to the eyes, as well as you don't get any bleed coming round it. I love the way the blue chest has come out. You can paint molds as well to add a different technique to them, and I'm going to make a members only video on how I paint these, what paints I use, and the techniques I use to make sure that you get the best results. So now we've got that one done, I think that's come out really cute. Let's Check this one. Oh, I didn't clean up the mold very well. Look where it got red and everything in it. But that's not a problem. I like the eyes. But what I can do is paint all this and give the hat and that a different colour and tidy that up and you won't recognise it. But look at those cute eyes. They've come out so well. Woo! So now let's go to the frog. I think I put the eyes in the wrong position in this mould. I didn't actually put them in the eye sockets. I put them on the top of the head. I don't know why. Maybe because I wasn't concentrating. Yeah, I did, look. But what a great result that has with using the UV resin like that as well. Gives a great result. I've been doing that for a long time. I've done a couple of videos on that before. But that result came out really well. Look at those blue eyes. They should have been tucked around the sides, not on the top of the head. But actually, I don't mind that. It's quite a smiley, happy looking frog. So those eyes are brilliant. These colours are absolutely stunning. Look at those colours there. And they come in a wide range. So there's a lot going on in this video. Hope you've enjoyed it. Be sure to check out the video I've got coming up next. Members, be sure to check out the video on how to paint these things as well. I think you'll love that. Boot the like button, hit the subscribe button, but most of all, enjoy your resin. Take care. Bye.